Hi, my name is Alicia Woolsey. I live in Wolf City, Texas. I work in commerce. I have four beautiful daughters, two of them with intellectual disabilities, but all four are very active in sports and cheer and student council and everything else, so we're a very busy family. I have worked at Spot Brewery in Commerce, Texas for 10 years now as of July 4th. And I've gone from being the Sunday, Monday bartender of the slower nights to owning it. I am the boss now, and a lot of my ORGL projects have been over this business because it's what's relevant to me. My hobbies include I coach my youngest cheer team this year, and I am very into gardening. However, every time I start to grow my tomatoes and everything else, life happens and it is not going so well, but that is my interest in what I'm trying to do. Where I am on my leadership journey is I have held positions of leaderships for years. I was married to the military, and I was kind of traded off to be the FRG leader so that my husband at the time could keep his position in a specific company, and I did very well at that. We got record fundraisers, and we moved on to, once I got divorced, to heading a local nonprofit for animal rescue. I was a foster, and I was the third in charge there for a while. Now, like I said, I own a business in commerce, so leadership has always been kind of a role I have been in, and it's something I've enjoyed. It's not always something I felt is my strength. However, I am the one that steps up typically. So ORGL has really helped because my business has been very people-based. The spot was originally founded by Derek Gorman in order to provide a future of careers for his brothers. So it was always meant to be very family-oriented and very family-based. So that is where the focus has been for the duration of the business. However, ORGL is really helping me find the balance between putting the employees first and the customers first and making that people-centric quality also balanced with being productive and moving forward as a company. What questions do I still have is that I don't feel like ORGL really, number one, is not catered to what's currently happening. It is nice to talk about how we need to get our employees motivated for change and how we need to be able to grow with the strength of our employees backing us and everything. But right now, if during the changes that we're making, if for whatever reason I can't get one of mine on board and I'm struggling to do it, replacing them isn't so much an option. We're in a nationwide hiring crisis. So quality employees that are there to follow this change, they're hard to come by, and this isn't something that's being talked about a lot in this. So being able to move some of the concepts and ideas from ORGL into the real world during this hiring crisis is very difficult, and especially in a small town, especially in a transient town like Commerce, Texas. So I feel like there's a lot of variables that aren't touched on that could be touched on. What happens when your employee base is less than 10 people? It's very different to motivate such a small group that works so close together. Right now, my employees feel very split down the middle, guys and girls. Our girls are very, very motivated and very helpful, and the guys are kind of set on the old way is the right way. And I'm really struggling to get them on board with it, but it doesn't mean they're not committed to the company. They're committed to the company that they've been with for so long. We have very low turnover. It's very easy for us to hire that, but getting the right people in is difficult. And throwing away the experience and throwing away the loyalty because change is a struggle for them is kind of the way ORGL feels like it's approached, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but it isn't addressed much that we are in a climate that doesn't allow to replace the people that are on board and doesn't allow for some of these necessary changes, especially in a small town. I feel like companies that aren't either at the bottom of the barrel that can start over or at the top of the echelon where, they have perfectly motivated employees, I feel like the middle ground are kind of overlooked in the ORGL process. What has really stuck with ORGL for me is the SWOT analysis. This was an assignment given to me in a previous class, and the way SPOT has always been very self-reliant, very self-sufficient, and relatively successful. it is a business that has really, we don't struggle. We made it through COVID. When we came back, we had very loyal people. We've got people, like, our customers are wonderful. And, we try to maintain an atmosphere that is conducive to that. And apparently we've done a very good job of this. But Spot builds on itself by capitalizing on the best parts of it. So as we address things, we tend to address not the larger things at once. We tend to go with, if we're struggling on a Tuesday, we look back and look at our trivia, we bring that in, and we take really moderate steps forward. And they're very careful and they're very calculated. The SWOT analysis to me was interesting because the encouragement of taking your biggest hindrance, your biggest problem, and going after that. It's something I've really struggled with to analyze as deeply as the SWOT analysis made me do. And it's something that I struggled with finding the motivation to get behind and to find a realistic way to tackle such a large problem. Our problem was our presence on campus. Commerce, Texas is a transient city. Half of the citizens of Commerce, Texas are there for school, and they're only there for so long. And so you're rebuilding that side of your customer base every couple of years, because realistically these customers come in at 18 years old. We are a bar, so 21 is where our client base is built. So in that, we have about 2 years with half of these people. And once those people are on and graduate, we don't have the word of mouth from them. We don't have all of the things that really help build other communities, because Commerce is such a different community than others. Being a small town, the word of mouth is a little bit harder to get behind, not because people don't talk. In a small town, we all know people talk more than they talk anywhere else on earth. However, we don't have as much of the full coverage. We don't have 1,000 people talking about us. Our customer base is 100 people in a 10,000 person community. So it's very difficult for us to get on campus and to get people talking about us on campus, since you can't really come to our place of business for the first couple of years. And we've got, one of our employees right now didn't even know about us until her senior year. So the SWOT analysis made me confident enough to take a look at our largest problem and come up with a whole solution, which we are enacting. In fact, behind me, I have one of the 5 t-shirts plus 5 different hat styles that are made to address our advertising issue on campus, while being respectful of the campus culture of, I'm not going to sit around and have, Dos Equis on a t-shirt and have 18-year-olds walking around advertising booze. Like, that's not the respectful way to deal with the campus culture. We have been part of Merchant Nights, and we understand what the campus expectation is on how alcohol and tobacco are treated, and we are a smoking bar. So these are our livelihood. So we have come up with a full plan. We are currently in the process of building our display case, and once the display case is up, we have everything. We have the SWOT analysis was really helpful to tackle one of our largest problems that have really been sitting in the back, because SPOT is, the path of least resistance. So the littlest problems get dealt with first, which is very different that a lot of companies choose to tackle their issues. But it's very much the way we have, because it requires the least change, and our brand is about the stability, and it's about that Cheers homegrown factor. So we don't try to make giant changes at once. People are very resistant to it. Honestly, we changed bar stools and put backs on a couple of them, and we spent 6 weeks dealing with the fallout of that. So tackling our largest issue has been a very adventurous thing for us. It's very different than how Spot would typically choose to do something. As a learner, my biggest challenge is obviously our time management. I have 4 children. One of them has been in driver's ed all summer. I've got one that's in cheer camps and clinics and everything. We've got 2 that are in student council. It's crazy around here. On top of that, I was robbed, which became a huge part of this summer, between catching the person who did it and dealing with the fallout of the checks. And up until this weekend, we thought we were handling everything, and this weekend we've got a whole different set of situations that almost shut our business down today. Today should have been the last day we were open. However, we were able to fix that over the weekend. So it is definitely a time management issue to get through this degree. Also, I'm part of the TRIO program. I have a learning disability, I have ADHD, and due to the cluster that this semester or this summer has been, I've been on new medications. So we're trying to find the balance of that. Even now, I feel a little cloudy, which is probably why I'm speaking not quite as concisely as I normally would. So those are my particular challenges, is just, I have a full-time career. I have 4 beautiful daughters, and I do intend on using this ORGL to build my business and honestly to become a student and academic counselor up there. I've actually talked to Tara about that not too long ago, about that really being the goal of this ORGL degree, is to help people like me who really got stuck in another program and didn't know what to do until they stumbled upon something. My previous advisors had not really seemed interested in making sure that I reached my goals. So that is something I've been struggling with from the beginning of this, is just getting somebody behind me that was really there to show me how to do this and how to get further. So the medications are balancing, they're working, they're not quite perfect yet, but as an instructor, what I would ask is 2 things. Number one, I understand that a lot of my papers really simplify a lot of the concepts that are in the ORGL program, and I'm not doing that out of disrespect or out of not understanding what's going on. I'm really doing it because I'm whittling this down to what works for my business, and my business is, I believe we have 8 employees. So there are some things that work in a grand scale for a larger like Fortune 500 company that don't work for me the same way. So please understand that as I'm writing about this, if my concepts seem a little simple, sometimes it is because I'm not working with divisions and technical teams and marketing teams and everything else. I have a girl that does our social media. I have a girl that does our security. We have, like, our teams are down to 1 person at a time, and it works for us. It is the way that we do run our business because we have so few people, but it may seem a little simplistic. The second thing is practicing patience. I'm not the person that asks for extended times or anything to that effect. However, I am definitely the one who will get it in just under the wire. This is not a reflection of laziness, and this is not a reflection of a lack of drive or a lack of effort that I'm willing to put into it. Sometimes it is honestly just a lack of time. As I said, this weekend we thought we would be shutting the doors on Monday because of an issue with our credit card processor that we couldn't have done anything about. And so we're still getting fallout from that, but we didn't have to shut down. So I've really spent the time that I thought I would be making this video making sure that our doors can stay open and making sure that, my children still make it to cheer and everything else. So I would like the understanding that last minute submissions on my part really aren't about a lack of drive for this degree. It really is, I think I have time that I don't. Life happens to me faster than I really think it happens to a lot of people. So I would ask for some understanding for that. I look forward to being in this class, and I look forward to getting this degree. I look forward to setting the example to my children that it's never too late, and even if you don't have a whole motivation, if I never get another job besides the job I already have, the degree won't change whether I run the spot or not. The degree will change how I do it and what I do in relation to how I run it, but I want my kids to know that it is worth working for. And this is very, very important to me. So please don't take my last minute submissions as a lack of drive. Thank you.